Welcome in. I'm Jessica Morey, joined by former Oklahoma State Cowgirl softball player Mariah Gearhart. Thank you so much for joining me, Mariah.
Of course, thanks for having me. I'm super excited.
And we are super excited to have you because you were recently named to a U.S. national team for flag football. Now, you played softball at Oklahoma State. When did you get into flag football?
Very ironically, actually, right after I graduated, I was recruited to play on the slow pitch team for ESPN, obviously immediately as I got there. And at one of the slow pitch games, then we had a couple subs who asked me if I wanted to play flag football. And I was like, there's flag football, like for adults? I was like, yeah, definitely sign me up. And it literally just took off from there. I got recruited by some of the more elite players, and I've been playing since 2011 ever since.
And so now you're on the U.S. national team. Were you on the national team in 2018 as well?
I was, yes. So defending gold medalist.
That's awesome. How did you get all the way to the national level?
Honestly, it was kind of a route that we didn't know existed until one of my quarterback, actually for Team USA, was my rival quarterback in our women's divisions. And she had sent me a link and was like, did you know that there was a USA team? And when they had played back in 2016 is when we kind of figured out that USA football even had a flag football team.
So you are going to go and defend your gold medal from 2018, and you're getting to travel all over the world to get to play flag football. What is that like for you?
For me, it's like a dream come true, because obviously being a softball player, I originally wanted to play for Team USA since I was little. And when I was in college is when softball was taken out of the Olympics. So my Olympic dreams were pretty much crushed, and I knew that I wouldn't be going for softball because even by the time it got back into the Olympics potentially, I was going to be way too old by then. And knowing the youth that was coming up, I was like, all right, so softball is out for Olympics. And so now that I'm being able to represent Team USA in a different sport that I've kind of just fallen in love with. It wasn't something that I grew up playing with softball, kind of is like a different level of a dream come true and a next level of an accomplishment too, because it was kind of unplanned. And so now I take a lot of pride in it because I've committed myself to it kind of without an intention to do it.
And how does playing college softball translate to being so successful at flag football?
I think what I figured out, especially like hand-eye coordination, obviously there's actually a lot of softball players that come out and most of them have a really, really good hand-eye coordination to translate, but also like, especially when you have outfielders, being able to track the ball. It's not something, I feel like as a softball player, we take it for granted because we've been training and working on, catching balls over our shoulder and being able to track a ball and working on our depth perception and being able to run and look at a ball at the same time. Not a lot of people do that in their sport. And so being a softball player, that was probably the easiest thing. And of course, for a female to be able to catch a deep ball and being able to use their hands the entire time is something you rarely see in our sport, especially for women. So for me, that was number one. And then also being a rusher is my position. So I rush the quarterback, and being able to have the speed and agility. Like I still use a lot of my training that I had at Oklahoma State to help prepare me to rush and play flag football.
So you're representing Team USA, but you're also representing Oklahoma State. So what is it like getting to represent Cowgirl softball on such a big stage?
It's what I definitely take pride in. I try to make sure everybody knows every single time, like I'm an Oklahoma State Cowgirl, and it's not to really brag on myself, but really to brag on the university, because I wouldn't be the athlete that I am without Oklahoma State. The fact that I still use my training that I did at Oklahoma State to help prepare for this is where I give all my credit. And then just being able to, deal with media still, being able to still do my profession, being able to still handle this kind of as a hobby. It's not a profession, but still be able to handle my professional job. And then, real life too, being, I'm not a student athlete anymore. So there's a lot more adult responsibilities. So all of that is because of how Oklahoma State helped me, from my professors to, all of our tutors and everybody in the AC that helped me at Oklahoma State. Like I give all the props of me being able to be successful even now in adult life is because of how Oklahoma State prepared me on every single level as a student athlete.
That's awesome. So what is next for you? What do the next, 6 months look like for you before you actually compete in the national tournament?
Woo! It is so, so exciting. There is so much happening with USA football. We have USA tackle even trying to merge with flag football for like the first time ever. So being able to have them behind us is going to give us a lot more opportunities to also be more involved with the NFL. So I can't officially say a lot of the things that have been rumors as of right now, but we're definitely looking to go play overseas, be more involved with NFL flag as well, and possibly be able to play more internationally, honestly, before we do go over to Spain, because that's actually never been done before. Most of the time, we're having to get out there almost an entire week or more before the IFAF tournament to be able to practice, because we don't really play together. And so now with this team being created and being more involved with the actual flag world that we play in, we're able to play together a little bit more. But USA football is going to really help us be able to go play overseas and play more international teams to prep us before we go over to Spain in October.
And so you go to Spain in October for the World Championships. I know it's a little bit away, a little bit less than a year, but just how exciting when you think about that, getting to go to Spain, and getting to represent Oklahoma State and Team USA.
For me, it's super exciting because I've never technically been overseas. We went to Panama in 2018, so that was my first real international, because I'm from San Diego, so I don't count going to Mexico as really international. And I've been to Canada, so I've been on each side of the border. But Panama was my first real trip. But now that I live in Florida, it was kind of a really short flight. So I don't know how excited I am about a 14-hour flight, but it will be my first international flight. So I'm super excited to be able to go overseas. My sister was overseas for her master's in England, and she just told me so many great things about being able to travel internationally and be able to see just a completely different world, and being able to be in Spain and at a really amazing location on Marisco Islands is something I'm so excited about. So I'm excited obviously to play, but there's a lot of sightseeing that I'm super excited to do too.
That's awesome, and we are super excited for you. We will definitely be cheering you on here in Stillwater.
I can't wait. Thank you guys. Go Pokes.
Go Pokes.